all the time. Sparks when faith and preparation combine. The road been right here all this time, but you gotta look with more than your eyes. And the small axe Jesse representing for I just our mindset, rich forever.
Zion is a state of mind, you lock to the mindset. This is opposite crew represent.
Mindset, blessed love, manners and respect. Want to greet the item in the divine name of His Imperial Majesty, Emperor Haile Selassie I and also Empress Menelenelek I. Marcosai Holy Emmanuel I, King Selassie I Jah, Rastafari. One more day above ground, beautiful viewers and subscribers, as the item know. Life is our ultimate position. Not no greater than that, no matter what go on. Alright? Yeah, so we're giving thanks. Give thanks to the 6-day work and the 7-day rest. Give thanks for the Sabbath day. Give thanks to ones who observe, the Sabbath. Yeah, man. So we have a nice program lined up for the item in the evening here, in the early morning on this side, in the UK. 5 minutes after 1 a.m. May I tell her? 5 minutes after 1. So we have some special guests from the EWF zine that is based in Trinidad and Tobago. We have the president of one of the local there in Trinidad, and also one of the members. See? Yeah, so yeah, we have that lineup today. Title of the thing as we are say, EWF, is it still relevant today? See? So yeah, that's what we are look on in the night here. We have 2 special guests seen on the program. Yeah. So yeah, supposed to be quite interesting program this evening. Please spread the word. Alright. Please push the like button also. If the item could like the video, that would be good. Yeah, would give a thanks, for that. Liking the video is important. That is important. Alright. Yeah, man, liking the video is important. What the sense being here and not liking the video? It's not costing anything, to like the video. Yeah, well, if some people don't want to like the video, then, if you want to leave, then of course, leave. We're not begging anyone to be here. We're here because we want to be here, But liking the video is important. That is important, you know what I mean? We shouldn't have to ask, ones to like the video. But yes, of course, we can remind ones to do so, because we know some of the time, people don't remember to do them something there. So, we like to remind ones, it's not beg, we are beg if you do that. So yeah, manners and respect to everyone who there in the chat room also. Seeing, bless up the eye themselves. Yeah. One more Sabbath and we're there. Yeah. So, all pa things they say are gone. All pa things they say are gone. All pa evil things, we see a take place. All pa wickedness in the earth right now. I don't know how the people them just love wickedness, I watch a thing today and the Virgin I said, boy, African people, because them praise the God of Israel, automatically. Well, he was speaking about, the church people, the Christian people, them automatically take side. You know what I mean? Yeah. Regardless how sinister and evil the thing might look, and still I take side, them now go oppose or condemn. Them say, boy, don't play with the God of Israel. You find out, say, African black people in general still, you know what I mean? Them take side. But don't think there's any side for them to really take, It's just how fanatical, black people are when it comes to religion. Black people is very fanatical when it comes to religion, See? Yeah, religion. Very, fanatical. Yeah, but as we say, we have two special guests on the program today. We're there, we are going wait for the call. We have Empress Menelenelek. Yeah, Empress Menelenelek. Yeah, and Khimean. Yeah, Virgin Khimean. So, our special guest today on the program, and we are gonna look on what the EWF is doing in Trinidad and Tobago, and the world at large, said we, because the EWF is a international organization, that was sent by His Majesty, to the Americas for black people, for the black people of the world. EWF. Yeah. So, yeah. As I say, we are gonna have special guest on the program today. Blessed love. Oh, go on.
Blessed love.
Blessed love,
Can
my
you hear
love.
the eye?
You can hear, right?
Yes, I can hear you clearly. Yes, I.
All right, perfect. Yes, I am Khimean. Warm welcome.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Everything blessed. Everything blessed.
Yes, far right. And
All right. I believe Empress.
Yes, give thanks.
Empress
Menelenelek.
Menelenelek. I hope I'm pronouncing the name right. Menelenelek. Blessed love.
Yeah. Menelenelek. Menelenelek.
Menelenelek.
Menelenelek. That's right.
Okay. If I could speak up a little bit louder, I would appreciate love that.
Give thanks.
Yes, I
Clearer
give
now?
thanks. Yeah, I want the whole world to hear that beautiful voice, so, don't be shy. Rastafari. So, warm welcome. It's great to have the item here this evening, this morning, this night. Members of the Ethiopian World Federation, based in Trinidad, and we are pleased to have the president of that local in Trinidad.
I'm sitting in for the president.
Rastafari?
Yes, I'm sitting in for the president.
Oh, you're sitting in for the president.
Yes.
Okay,
Yes,
okay.
He has an engagement, so I'm sitting in for him.
Okay. You're quite low though. You're low. You're very low. I don't know why.
I have no idea what that is. Are you hearing me better now?
Yeah, man.
Let me see. Let me see. Is it sounding better?
Yeah, man. That is better.
Okay, good.
Yeah. Blessed. All right, my sister. Talk to me. So you're sitting in for the president. What is going on with the EWF in Trinidad and Tobago?
Well, recently we actually had the opportunity to have our locals started in Trinidad and Tobago, but we have been doing a lot of work before that.
Mm-hmm.
So we have seen the importance of the Constitution of His Imperial Majesty and how it works when you actually apply it to daily life. Even with your governmental situations and stuff. So we are looking forward to having our IDs and so on, because it's only by applying laws that you are able to reap rewards and benefits.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yes, I. So, what are some of the works that, as they are saying, that been going on before recent setting up the local?
So,
why this phone busy? I'm saying what is some of the work that they are saying that been going on prior before now?
Okay, so before now, what we did, because we understood the nature of having our own business, our own education system, our own businesses, our own medical system. We need to have our own food and stuff. So we actually had an agricultural program.
Mm-hmm.
We have a medical system, but what we do is we incorporate medicine, the medical so-called, and our medical, which is herbs and eat what you grow, let your food be your medicine kind of thing. So we created the environment where persons can come, have surgeries done, the works, massages, you name it, we offered it. So we actually have a business doing this. We also have an online school, right, established by one of our young men. We have, what else we did?
So,
right? And we've been actually working along with the different governmental agencies to bring about some sanity, like helping them to understand the importance of international laws and actually following the rule of law. Because even if you don't want to affiliate yourselves, let's say, with His Imperial Majesty and the Constitution of His Imperial Majesty, United Nations Declaration of Human Rights, that they would have all signed on to, begs to see us operating and functioning in a particular way, right? So you can't sign on to human rights and then jump off with some foolishness that not even the rights of humanity. So the right to food, the right to clothing, the right to shelter, the right to an education, the right to knowing your rights more than anything else, which is the government's responsibility to ensure that each individual know his or her right, the right to self-determination.
So how does
our government's first duty is to protect the people.
Yeah, so how does the EWF...
And so in knowing and understanding that that's the first duty of a government,
so
we established ourselves in that way even before we had the EWF. And we began working for the freedom of our people. And the freedom here doesn't mean the right. Yes, please?
Hold on for one moment. I just thought, could you unmute your mic?
Empress, you have to listen to me now. I'm the host of the program, and if you're not listening to the host,
that's okay. Give that. Give that.
You have to listen to the host because I'm interjecting. I'm the one here asking all the questions.
I'm sorry, your mic is mute on this side.
Pardon me? Yeah, so I was asking, how does the EWF fit into?
I just started. If you could unmute your mic, I'm sorry. If you could unmute your mic.
Why is my mic mute?
Yes, go ahead. The question I just started. I'm sorry, my apologies. I have a delay.
All right, let me do this my way. I'm the one who's in control of this, okay? So let me do it my way. All right, I don't want anyone muting my mic. Yeah. I'm the one should be muting people's mic, not anyone muting my mic. No, that's not how it works. Okay. Doesn't work like that. Sorry. Pardon me, honorable family. I've got to do this my way. All right. Yeah. Let's say. Blessed love.
I don't know how much you all heard or how much you missed.
Blessed. Can the item hear me?
Yes, we can. Yes, I can.
Perfect.
Can you hear?
Yeah, man.
Are you hearing me clear?
Yeah, I can hear it perfect. So I was asking, how does the EWF fit into what I was saying now? Like, it is the government responsibility for citizens or people to know their rights. So how does the EWF fit into that? What role does the EWF play in getting the people up to that knowledge?
Okay, so in the EWF you have locals. Locals are like little governments. You see, like how we have the United States of America and you have the presidency in Washington, and then you have all the little governments in the other states. So the locals are like the states of the Ethiopian World Federation. The locals responsibility is to help the people to understand the purpose of the EWF and to get people involved in their self-determination. It's basically it. So it's the locals' responsibility to ensure that the people where they are know about the Ethiopian World Federation and what it means for us as a people.
Okay, so when you were saying the government, you wasn't speaking about the government of Trinidad. You were speaking about the federation governmental system, right?
Yeah. So I'm talking to all governments. So and that's why I said even if you are not under the Ethiopian World Federation governance, there is the United Nations, where all these governmental organizations have signed on, and there is something called the United Nations Declaration of Human Rights. And it is each government's responsibility when they go home from the United Nations with the Declaration of Human Rights that they have signed on to. It is important for all nations' governments to educate their people of the laws of the land. Because what that does, it helps the people to have solidarity, to have self-determination. And it gives them a sense of patriotism. Now, when the governments are wicked, as they are operating at this present point in time, they would want to hide from the people what their rights and responsibilities are. Because by doing that, they are now controlling the people rather than protecting the people's rights and the property. But it is really the government's responsibility. Remember, the government is the servant of the people. The government is not the controller of the people.
If I may come in.
Yes,
So,
go right ahead.
when it comes to teaching people who would like to be educated on their rights, we are teaching foreign affairs when it comes to UCC laws, when it comes to international laws. So that's for the ones you're asking, for people who want to know about the rights, how the EWF is teaching about the rights. So we are like holding Zoom calls and educating on these things with books and research and articles to look upon. So yeah, that's how we're doing it.
Okay. All right. So I heard the Empress speak about health facilities and doing surgeries and stuff like that. Is those facilities set up in Trinidad?
In Tobago, yes. And in Trinidad, we have like a couple clinics who are on board with us. Yeah.
And what, this is funded by the EWF or is a government funded?
No, it is the EWF. It is us.
So the EWF in Trinidad and Tobago, what is the membership like? Is it just Rasta, the makeup of the EWF, or it's it's just black people?
It is just black people. It is our people that make up the Ethiopian World Federation in Trinidad and Tobago.
So no Rasta is a part of it?
They are Rastas, they are Rastafarians, and they are other regular Christians, there are Muslims, people who just don't go to church and all of that. Yeah, we have a multi-faceted group of people.
Okay. So the facilities for the health facilities.
Yes.
What is that like now? Is it something that very active? You know, people coming there on a regular.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is, because even during the COVID,
Mm-hmm.
we actually issued letters of exemption from vaccination. We gave persons letters that they'll be able to travel. Persons letters that they could give to their employers, and we're talking about people working like Digicel and all these kinds of things, and those letters were accepted, right? Travel letters and so on were given, and persons were able to travel, right? Exemptions were respected. Mhm.
Okay, perfect. Perfect. All right, so where the item is today now, you know, cause you know I guess most of what you know the item is speaking about now is what was happening prior to where the item is today.
Okay.
No?
So, right, even up to today,
Mm.
right, we still are pursuing interests, speaking with governments, right, especially in our Caribbean, you know, to help them to follow the rule of law, you know, showing that, listen, the rights and privileges that are afforded to our people, whether it's under the United Nations or under His Imperial Majesty's Constitution of 1965, and, you know, just following the Constitution of the Ethiopian World Federation, we recognize that these hold weight, and because of the ignorance of our people, these governments continue to make policies, amendments, and so on that are harmful to our people. So we are in the, you know, in the process of educating our people as to their rights and responsibilities, and also working together with the governments, helping them also. Because one of the things we recognize is that even though they hold the office, a lot of them are not really aware of even their own rights and responsibilities, far less to be able to assist the community in knowing what theirs are.
Okay. So the current situation that we see now that is happening in the Middle East, and you have black people that might be caught up in what is happening there. Would the EWF be lending any support to those individuals if the item can?
One of the greatest aims and responsibilities of the Ethiopian World Federation is to foster love and to promote goodwill at home and abroad, so that if our brother's house is on fire, is our house as well. So it's our responsibility, and yes, we do reach out, and at this present moment are doing all that we need to do to ensure that peace reigns.
What is the relationship like with the Ethiopian Orthodox Church?
Okay. The Ethiopian Orthodox Church and the Ethiopian World Federation Incorporated are one and the same, basically. It's just that the church has its sovereign autonomy, because it is the church. It's responsible for the religious aspect of the federation, and the federation is the governmental aspect of it. So right? But they both work together hand in hand. They are not separate and apart from each other.
And that is the Tewadoan
Yes,
Church.
yes.
Tewahedo, yeah.
Yes.
What you said, they're one and the same?
Yes, they are together. You see, the federation was given first. After, in 1974, the Ethiopian Tawhido Church was given, and the purpose of the Tawhido Church is to guide and to instruct, to teach ones and ones, because there is a part of the Constitution of the Ethiopian World Federation that says that we are to protect the integrity of Ethiopia, which is our divine heritage. And so to protect the integrity of Ethiopia, then you have to know the traditions and so on. So the church is responsible for helping us and also for giving us our new names. You know, to be an Ethiopian, yeah, you know, to identify, you have your Ethiopian name. So the church gives you your name after you are baptized and so on. You have a new name. That name is your Ethiopian.
So for you to be an Ethiopian, you have to get a name from the church?
No, we are Ethiopians,
Mm-hmm.
but because, okay, so it is like you're from Africa and you are Mohammed or from the tribe of whatever. You come out to the West, you change your name into whatever they want to change it so that it will be a benefit to them. What you do is change your name from being European to returning to who you are. It's like, I know I am Ethiopian, and so thereby I would like to have and identify being an Ethiopian, the place where I can come from. And it is legitimate, so rather than just change, you know, like a lot of us just take on a name, and it really just that. You still, whenever you go to the bank or go anywhere, you have to carry your plantocracy identification. Whereas when you get baptized in the Ethiopian church and you have your new name, you can actually use that legally or lawfully.
So another thing too, why the church and state joining is very important, is that when you look at governments around the world, that's something that's set up. When you go to the courts, you have the things like the Bible and such. When it comes to a lot of the laws, it's connected to the Bible. It's connected to spirituality. When you come to societies, it's connected to spirituality that's connected to some form of Christianity or some form of symbolism that's connected to Christianity. So when it comes to authority and when it comes to ranking in the world, when it comes to politics and such, the church and state setup is important when it comes to exercising authority. So that joining of the EWF Incorporated with the Ethiopian Theodoran Church is to solidify that unity of church and state, like a marriage that gives the laws set up a structure that has a faculty of spirituality when it comes to the society. So that's, I would say, that's one of the reasons why we have this set up with the Ethiopian Orthodox Theodoran Church. That's it.
Rastafari.
I would say, yes, I would say added to that, the authority of any state is vested in its church or in its religious belief or practices. So like, for instance, you have England, you have Rome, all these states have their church. And these churches were the ones who were responsible for the crusades and responsible for these draconian laws and rules that are in the earth that has caused us to be held captive, because they sat together and came up with a council, a whole, like one of the things the papal bull doctrine that would have caused them to be able to go around the world and take over lands and peoples and subject them not just to Christianity, as they call it, but also to a lot of people, a lot of wickedness, right? Because if the people would not bow as far as they are concerned, they call them spirituals and stuff, and then they would take them out in the name of their God, in the name of their Lord. So that our church teaches us about our Jesus, who is His Imperial Majesty, who came as vicar. So while the Pope says, I'm the vicar of Christ, His Imperial Majesty came as King of Kings and Lord of Lords, which is the highest authority. And through the church of His Imperial Majesty, we are able to exercise that authority as well. The authority that takes over the territory, jurisdiction.
Your mic is not that clear, my sister. For some reason, we're not hearing you.
Okay, are you hearing me better now? Are you hearing me better now?
Yes.
Okay, so yeah. What you heard up to? What was clear?
This is what I want to ask the eye. Does the church declare Emperor Haile Selassie as the Almighty or the Creator?
The church doesn't see His Imperial Majesty as Almighty, yes?
They declare that?
They say it. As to whether it is something that is publicly known to everybody.
Yeah, there was some talks about it amongst the clergy about it. There was even some controversy about putting him into sainthood, which is the same thing, basically. So it's a thing that's up in debate right now.
So that again, my brother, I didn't hear you clearly.
I said there is some debate and talks in the Ethiopian Theodoran Orthodox Church about having Haile Selassie put into the
liturgy,
reverence of in the liturgy of as a saint, to be sanctified. So if he's sanctified with those titles and those vestments he had as the king for his coronation, that would put him as the Christ. So that was some controversy. There was even some talk of violence that was happening in Ethiopia at the time, and even the ones that were making the controversy, they are linked with the Vatican. So there's some talks about that.
So this was like probably 4 or 5 months ago, where there was some breakaway with a few priests, right? Is it this incident?
Yes, I.
Okay. So the conflict is all about legitimizing Emperor Haile Selassie as the Christ in the church.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. So how the items say that?
Well, in 1930, November 2nd, the whole world saw. The whole world sent 72 nations sent representatives, and they bowed and they confessed. And then we see that he came and he broke the chains of slavery through what he gave us with the EWF. When it comes to what the Pope and the Vatican did with the paper bull doctrine to go around the lands taking anybody who were not Christians. So when His Majesty came and said that he is the king of all Negroes and king of all Africa, emperor of all of Africa, you know, he made claim as the king of kings, lord of lords, conquering land of the tribe of Judah to everything. And especially with us finding out through so much bloodline and lineage that people are Hebrew, you know, it's there that this is the one who would come, who would free the people from the 400 years. Yes, sir.
So why you think there was that standoff, or why the church didn't authenticate that from a longer time? Since knowing that His Majesty is the defender of the faith.
I would say, like everything else, when it comes to our institutions and organizations, there are always those who infiltrate the institution and, you know, go on with their own thoughts and ideas and seek to keep us back as a nation, you know, and they are paid for it. They are paid for doing these kinds of things. So a lot of times when you see these things occurring in our community, it's usually those who are paid off, right? Or those who are not rightly guided.
Okay. See. Well, so where is the conflict now? Is there any resolution in because I know that there was a breakaway, and I think 3 or 4 brethren was either expelled from the church.
After that excommunication, they got together and there was some reconciliation. So it's just about continuing the talks, continuing the reasoning, so they could come to that amicable place and have that oneness of mind. So we are just waiting at this point to hear from the clergy on this matter.
So if they come to a resolution, what will the people of Ethiopia will be saying? The Emperor Haile Selassie is God, is Christ? Is that what the Christians they will be saying?
Well, it would have to be evident, because if you said that the King of Kings is coming and that he's going to come to break all the bondage and he's going to come to set the captives free and so on. And if His Imperial Majesty has already done that in everything that he would have done, constitution-wise, or the treaties that he would have made around the world, so that the very Ethiopians can benefit even up to today, a whole lot of perpetual succession. So what else could they say? It's only a stiff-necked people will see the Christ in their faces and not acknowledge who he is.
So don't you think that the people gonna say, boy, is a Rasta vibe are coming at the church, knowing that, you know, it's only Rasta declare that, you know, Emperor Haile Selassie is the Almighty Creator?
Well, you see, we're saying if the church says this. So the church itself is not Rasta. And these conclusions that Rasta has come to is through study of scripture, not only of the Bible, but of the Kebranegas and other holy scriptures of Ethiopia. So, see, it's Rasta that, lead the way with this type of knowledge when it comes to seeking it. But it's not only Rasta alone that have found the knowledge. There have been many ones who have seen His Majesty and proclaim, his majesty. So, like I said, is the scripture itself. It's the Ethiopian tradition itself as to how the Ethiopian tradition created the scriptures in the not just created the scriptures, but created the religions and created the structure for the religion.
But
So
if I just interject, my brother, it was only Rastas everywhere and anywhere that was saying that the emperor of Ethiopia is God. It's the Rasta that bring that theology.
it was more than Rasta, There was some man in Chicago, some Americans, not Rastafari. There were some Americans in Chicago, but even before Leonard Howell.
Which year was this?
Empress, do you remember what year was that that had that little ruckus in Chicago and the police were involved?
No, and
No?
I can't remember.
I'll have to get it for the eye.
Yeah.
But there was some other ones in Chicago that saw Rastafari, before that moment, before even before King Emmanuel, was in New York going to college and stuff. So it's a thing where most people know the story because of Rasta. Most people know the emperor through Rasta. But when you look at the emperor himself, Rastafari Makonnen, when you look at the man and you look at his life and the works.
Slow down, my brother.
All right.
There's a distinction and there's a big difference, and we must not confuse the both. All right.
Yeah.
Yes, people know His Majesty. Yes. Before Rastas start to declare His Majesty as God Almighty, Zane. But these people who know His Majesty before then wasn't declaring His Majesty as God Almighty. They knew Him, but they wasn't declaring Him as that. It is the Rastas in Jamaica who declare His Majesty before every and anybody in the earth. So please don't confuse that, my brother and my sister, with someone who might have known His Majesty prior, before Rastas start declaring Him as God Almighty. We have to be careful what we're doing,
Yeah, I'm not making a blanket statement. I'm not making a blanket statement. Like I said, I will look it up for the eye to give it to you. But it's not a blanket statement, and it's not taken away from anything of the culture how it has been built, because it's one people. I myself, I'm not from the States, so it ain't nothing to me to say that about that situation. But like I said, it's not a blanket statement, and I'll look at it to present it to the eye. I don't want to make just loose statements. So yes, sir.
All right. What is the Ethiopian World Federation doing in terms of repatriation? What is happening on that front?
Well, at present, the Ethiopian World Federation does have an agreement with the government of Jamaica when it comes to repatriation. And there is on the table the development program for the land that was given so that they'll be able to create that space for the proper repatriating of the people. And that was, and it is going to be starting with that land that Shashamani. So it's not limited to just that. But before you move people, there has to be a proper infrastructure in place.
Mm-hmm.
And so therefore, these things are being negotiated at this time.
So the EWF in Trinidad is dialoguing with the Jamaican government in terms of repatriation.
No, actually, no, not at present.
It's the international board that's doing anything major.
Which is our International Executive Council.
Mm-hmm.
Is doing that. So from government to government, we are just a local within the government. So it's like a state, Trinidad. Our responsibility basically is our state in which we are, and then we would also work along with other islands to assist them in championing the causes that they have. But our International Executive Council is the one that deals with governmental relations, basically. International governmental relations.
Okay, your line is going in and out, my sister. That is why sometimes I'm a bit struggling to hear the eye still.
Are you hearing me any better now?
Yeah, sometimes it come good, and then as you continue in the talking, then it does drop off, in and out. So
okay,
not sure why that is.
So what we have, okay, so are you hearing me better now?
Yeah, man, that is perfect.
Great. What we have happening is that the locals are responsible for doing negotiations with their government in the places where they are established. So that if there is something that we can't deal with, then our IEC, which is our International Executive Council, step in. So like international relations with the sovereign governments, they are the ones who will deal with those kinds of things. Our corporations like Jamaica, Trinidad, and so on, our locals will work along with our governments where we are to put policies in place, to of course work with the rule of law, to establish the United Nations Declaration of Human Rights, so that we can have self-determination and we can be able to work and function and live well in our places where we live. When it comes to repatriation for those who were taken out of Africa by force, whose names were changed, who were treated very badly for 400 years, that repatriation to take our people out of a land where they have been mistreated, ill-treated, given all sorts of ills. The negotiations have been done, an MOU have been signed. They are ready to deal with the infrastructural development in Shashamani and by extension other lands that will be given. But before you move people from one place to another, it is only fair and right, as given by His Imperial Majesty, that we develop our place, make it habitable first, and then move to a place where we can be a living example, a bright light to the rest of the world.
So
Hope
what
that answers your question.
yeah, give thanks. So what in terms of that, there is two things I wanted to ask Diana. The I said, Trinidad and Jamaica and the rest of islands are corporation. Why did they use that term to classify them as corporation?
That they are corporations?
Yeah.
Okay, so a corporation is actually the business of somebody, right? And so because their highest courts, whatever your highest court is, that's the jurisdiction that you are under. That's your judicial. And so Trinidad, the highest court would be Court of Appeal in England, right? And so many others, Jamaica, all these other islands, right? Because they are an extension. They are a business of the United Kingdom, a business of France, a business of America, right? So they are corporations.
Okay. Thank you. I know that still, but I just wanted the eye to say it like that, so people understand, because when you just say corporation, and not breaking it down, it will fly over a lot of people's head, you know what I mean? Because people, especially in the Caribbean, they just see themselves as Jamaican or Trinidadian or Bayesian, when it's more to it than just being the nationality. It's actually more to the Trinidad and the Jamaica and the St. Lucia and so on, that people don't understand.
Yes.
All right, so reparation. What type of agitation is being done by the Federation towards that?
I would not want to touch on that because that is out of my scope. I would prefer that our president, which is the president of the international executive, speak on that matter. But from the foreign affairs where we function, right, we are indeed working on different things, because in our minds, reparations is not just about we must have money, but we must own our lands. So we are agitating in our communities where we are to own our lands. We should not be paying anybody for what is ours. So we are making those kinds of negotiations, those kinds of agitations, where we are in our different corporations saying, look, we are Ethiopians, which is basically the highest authority in the lands throughout the world. And so therefore we should not be taxed. We should not have to beg bread. We should be able to have our own food. We should have our own education, ability to educate our own people and govern ourselves. So that's our agitation right now, right? As to how reparations would come into that, when we have our lands, we could do anything. We don't bond for their money.
Okay, someone was asking in the chat room who is the president of the EWF International Executive Council.
His name is Dr. James Winborn.
Okay. Is it possible to have him on the program one at a time?
I am certain that he would oblige.
Perfect. So the headquarters, which is situated in is it Manhattan, New York? Is it New York?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, in Harlem, New York.
Yes,
Yeah.
Harlem, New York. Mm-hmm.
What is the situation there at present? Because the last time I speak with someone from the EWF, I think things was a little bit all over the place in terms of who is the right president and you know which address is the right headquarters and so on. I think they had about 4 different address for the for one headquarters. So what is the situation now?
Well, one, there are a few Ethiopian World Federations, because there've been a lot of corruption and such in the past, and people have used the body for their own personal gains and such, and there have been split ups in them, and people have made other associations. So I think the issue is local one is in New York, but they are more like a company that is a charity that gets assistance from the U.S. government more than anything else. So they've been kind of an issue when it comes to representation. But we always have the door open for them to come into the body, because that's what we're all about right now, is about unity. But the international body goes with the Constitution, and we had our days in the courts. We had our representation, we had the cases, and everything has been finalized that needed to be for us to proceed. So we are functioning and doing the works that we're called to do. So give thanks. Empress?
Give thanks.
So what they are saying a
me.
moment, one
Sorry about
moment.
that.
What they are saying, them went to court to what? To establish which address is the right address? I just want to clarify.
No. Not about the address itself, to deal with the address, but there was a situation with a former president with some ethics violations and such. So they were associated with her. So because they were associated with her, they wanted to ignore the process that happened in the court and keep their name over there. So they have a building that they've been at, but we have a building that is in Harlem as well. So the controversy is about the body itself, not about the building really, but about the body as to who really is the Ethiopian World Federation Incorporated. But as far as the works goes and the international recognition and holding convention and following the Constitution, and being within the rights of that and following them, I would say Ethiopian World Federation Incorporated is doing what it's supposed to, and people need to join along and understand.
Okay, seeing. All right. Interesting. Yeah, knowing that a organization that was set up to aid and assist black people globally have to be in a situation where we are at court with each other. It for whatever
Yes, sir.
reason.
And just to give example to that, the Empress talked tonight about during the COVID times when people wanted to get exemptions from work, who were forcing them to take the shots and stuff. They were giving out exemptions. They were giving out different things to people. But the other EWF that wants to claim that it is EWF was charging people for these things instead of giving them out in that way. So that shows integrity right there of EWF Incorporated.
Okay, so okay. Seeing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Apart from that, beloved,
Mm-hmm.
when you go on these different websites, the name of the organization is the Ethiopian World Federation, Incorporated. You would see only one of these websites with that name. They will have, the others will have, it's the Ethiopian World Federation, they'll have the Ethiopian World Federation, what do you call it? NGO, Ethiopian World Federation, you know, but they don't have the Ethiopian World Federation, Incorporated. And that was the original, that's the name that was given, and that is the name that stands for today.
So who was that person that was running that other organization?
Well, there were several persons,
Several.
right? So yes, right. So there was one Sister Gem, the other one. There is one with what's her name? Miss Madonna. There's another one that was Unit 1 that was run by I can't remember all the names right now, but there were 4 of them, other than the original one that is still intact today. And so it's very important to know that the Ethiopian World Federation, Incorporated, stands predominant today.
So well, I try to wrap my head around some things here. So what they are saying, so some of these people that we saw operating, they were frauds.
Well, I wouldn't say fraud. What I would say, misled, misguided. You know, sometimes you in an organization, read the Constitution.
No, my sister, that sound like you're just sugarcoating the thing, man. That sound like you're just sugarcoating the thing, because if you're not operating as the original thing, then you're forging you're forging the original thing. You know, you're a fraud. You're not. You know, this thing could bring the organization in disrepute, because if you have a mission statement, Zane, and it say one thing, and then you have people operating outside of that, doing a total different thing from what the HQ then. If you have a local operating outside of what the Constitution say, and you're doing something total different and still branding yourself as the Ethiopian World Federation, you're a fraud. You're a fraud, and you're a thief on top of it. You know, because you're misleading people. You know, I don't think those people are the ones that is misled. I think they are the ones that is misleading people. Because that is what frauds do. That is what imposters do.
Rightly put. I must say I have to agree with what you said. Right? At the same time, ones would say that they were probably ignorant to the facts, and they would have established things that they thought would have worked well for the people at that time.
You know, I feel a way because I think I have some of these people on the program one at a time, you know.
Yes.
You know, posing as the Ethiopian World Federation. This is this sound away. You know what I mean? Yeah, this sound away. So it would be imperative to really have, you know, the president at some point
Yes,
and
definitely.
you know, to really clear up some of these misunderstanding, you know.
Definitely.
I guess
And
we
that can be worked out soon.
yeah, because you know, black people, you know, this thing is given by His Majesty, you know, created by His Majesty. So you can't have ones, what you would say, and taking advantage of His Majesty. I don't even know, but you know, it's a disrespect. It's a disrespect. You know, it's a disrespect because this is black people thing, and you know, you can't mislead black people like that. You know,
Yes. And this is why the international executive right now is indeed working hard to reach out to our people, right? Especially those locals that were misled as well. And they are right now currently working on a unity, bringing all of these organizations back into one, you know, so that we are not going to have these sorts of infractions and misguidings and so on.
Yeah, because I think the EWF is a positive organization. I think if it really operate within its full capacity of what it's supposed to do, you know, I think it can be really beneficial to, you know, black people at large.
Definitely. Definitely. It has been given so that we can govern ourselves rather than serving in all of these places that we serve, hoping to get a salary, hoping to have good working conditions, hoping to have good food and clothing and shelter. If we come into our government, which is the Ethiopian World Federation, where we are the ones that make the decisions, we are the ones that determine how we would grow our food, what we will do for medicine, what we are going to do and teach in our education system. These are very important aspects, and we have been given the opportunity through His Imperial Majesty to even determine our own security system. What is our security system going to look like? You know, so we are really privileged to have the Constitution and the Ethiopian World Federation from His Imperial Majesty for all of us to benefit.
Yeah, I think yeah, it's a great organization. As I say, it does need to operate within its you know, full capacity.
Its capacity.
Yeah.
Give thanks. Give thanks.
So the eye, what does the eye do separate and apart from the working within the EWF?
Well, my entire life is the EWF because simply because, as I said, before we actually got our charter in Trinidad and Tobago, I literally had my organization, the Emmanuel's Academy of Life. And the Emmanuel's Academy of Life, the structure is the structure that the EWF has. And we operate and function very much in the capacity of His Imperial Majesty using the Constitution of 1955. So we were actually doing that. So I'm a therapist. I am a certified holistic wellness consultant. I am IV intubation and drug administration, a certified emergency medical technician, intermediate. I'm certified as a I do sign language working with persons with disabilities, right? And children slow learning. So I do literacy tutoring as well, right? So a whole host of things that I would have involved myself in so that I could help my people in whatever capacity that I can.
There is what they call a real queen, man.
Give thanks, give thanks.
Rastafari. They are full of talent and gifts and skills. They is well blessed.
Give thanks.
Give thanks.
Give thanks.
Yes, I. And my brother Ras
Khimean.
Khimean.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Give thanks, man.
Yes, far
Well,
same question.
yep. Yeah, man. Yeah, man. For the the EWF is a life work. And myself, I'm in the business over 10 years of hospitality, and also in the business of construction, and also in the business of technology. With my works over the past few years, I've been put in position to gather and counsel and to help organize and also be a part of think tanks and making important moves to organize different things. But overall, the thing is about helping the people come together, because that's the step that we're in this long process of unity. It's right now to come together, unify, and to be aware of the gifts that we have been left with, be aware of the whole setup and infrastructure and the whole blueprints that has been set down for us to just pick up and use, so that we may be liberated to live life to its fullest. So yes, I.
Yes, I. Yes, I. All right. They are them willing to take some question from the public? Would love to open the phone line. No?
Oh, yeah, sure.
Yeah, sure.
Rastafari. Yes, honorable family. So give thanks. We're speaking with a special guest from the EWF, Empress
Menelenelek.
Menin.
Yes, the Menelenelek.
Menelenelek. You see that going?
That's
Go
right.
and do all of that.
You were saying it good. Menelenelek.
Okay, Menelenelek. You see me that?
That's right. That's right.
Yeah. All right. We just so like we say it right still. Yeah, but yeah, we reason with Ras Khimean as well. From out of Trinidad and Tobago. We want to open up the phone line, and them can forward in with questions and answer time. So Number is 07852923892. You can link us on the WhatsApp or you can link me straight. See, now I'm gonna drop the number in the chat room so the item can link us on the WhatsApp. So the number is 07852923892. Call now. Yes, honorable family. So the item personally now. Any move towards Africa? Any plans?
Well, I do have plans to visit, right? Because one of the things that I know is very important before you think about just going to some place to live, it would be good to visit and, experience what it has to offer and to understand the culture of the people that you're going to live among. Because, I had the privilege of living in other islands right here in the Caribbean. And because of who I am, right, I was able to, get around eventually. But it's a bitter world out there when you are not from a particular space and place. And people are not open-armed to you coming to live and have what you call that, and have prestige. They would look at it like that, and have prestige in their environment. So if you're coming probably to be a peasant, you may be better received. But the moment you come in and you appear to be, in a more lucrative space or in a better position, right, then you would meet with opposition in a lot of ways. When I go to a place, I am there generally to help the people that are there. If I come into your organization, institution, I come to your place to live, I want it to be good for you. You mustn't feel burdened that I'm there. And I want to add to what you have. So that's just me, naturally. And so even if one would have a little resentment when you just meet me, eventually when you recognize I'm working for your best interests, I want to do what, would be best for you, then that relieves some of the tension. So my going to Africa would be to say, hey, I'm here to help. If you need my help, I'm here to help. If not, well, thank you much. I could go home and be comfortable at home anyway.
RASTAFARI. So where the I say is home? Trinidad.
No, my home is the entire world. My home is the entire world. But I am originally from Tobago, the island of Tobago, which is very Afrocentric in its nature. It's very Ethiopian. And so I grew up with Ethiopian culture and tradition as my culture and tradition.
Okay. All right. Let me take this call. Blessed love.
Definitely.
Yes, sir. Greetings.
Greetings, family.
Greetings.
Yes, sir. Blessed
Yeah, man,
love.
honorable. Blessed love, family. Yeah, man. That's why I say manners and heart of respect, to the item for coming forward and representing the item local and giving more insight into the Federation and what it represents, what it stands for. I did hear the item say something. First, let me say, I is a member of the Federation. Man based here in St. Croix, local number 5. I've been a member of the Federation here in St. Croix for 14 years, 15 years now. And we established here and we're doing works. And I hear the item say something that
I gonna question the item, and it's not to try and create any controversy or anything like that. But I hear the item say the Orthodox Church and the Federation is one. And according to the Constitution, the Federation is a non-religious, non-political entity. So I would just want to know what made the item say that. Is that what is going on in Trinidad? Why the item said so? Or is it just for my edification? What is the reason for the item saying that that those two entities are one?
Okay. These entities both were given by His Imperial Majesty for the work of His Imperial Majesty in the West. And so if you build a people and you bring them to a church, these people need a government. They need to have land, they need to have homes, they need to have, and this is what the federation is to these people. And so these two entities, while they have, and I would have said that they were autonomous, they both have their sovereign autonomy, yet they function together as one entity under His Imperial Majesty, operating and functioning on the same constitution. It's not different.
Oh.
My lord.
Well, so yes, I.
Hey, yes, sir. I want to say big
So-
up Local 5, man. Y'all doing some real works down there, man. Respect.
Respect to the eye,
give
yes,
thanks. Yes, I give thanks for the item pushing forward and representing the item local said way. You know, here in St. Croix, we have a lot of different members. People they
Yes,
have
sir.
some Muslim members. It have some ones that deal with Kemetic science. They have ones dealing with Moorish science. So
Yes.
it has to be a neutrality when it comes to the faith system for it to balance, because in everyone citing it, you know, through the churches per se. And I don't have nothing against the Tawedo Ethiopian Orthodox Church. You understand? And for me, just through observance, every time His Majesty leave the country, that's the last person he need to touch base with before he jump on the plane. And when he come back to the country, if you're paying attention, that's the first person he need to touch base with when he return into the country. So I understand the importance and the history of the church in Ethiopia. But we understand as a diaspora of people, and we understand the heritage of Ethiopia as it relates to the church and certain things. But the diaspora now, we realize that is, and through the teachings of the emperor, we understand that, you know, we know that the church and religion can be personal, but the state is for all. So the Ethiopian World Federation come as a state that is for all. So it don't necessarily come to deal with religion and things of that sort. It comes to just address the needs of the people, knowing full well, you know, Jah come to break down the oppression and rule equality, wiping away transgressions and setting the captives free, you know. So I just wanted to put that out to the item, because it's something here we realize that locally we wouldn't be able to bring the people them together in one accord, even when the prayers come in, because here there's a heavy Rastafari community here in St. Croix, said way too,
Yes,
and
sir.
even just to carry up certain teachings, or prayer service, or to open a meeting with prayers and certain things, even having to do that in a neutrality form where everyone can feel comfortable and keep ones where no one ain't pushing no faith and no belief system on anyone, for the people to just work on governmental affairs collectively, has been necessary for I and I to come together as a black nation of people with different views and things. You know, I hear some ones say it's hard to work like that, but you know, balancing with I diaspora and the community, we all come and we try to hold our manners in the thing, you know. So I just want to give thanks, my lad, same way. I just start for the opportunity. Man, ain't gonna take up no more time, but just more power to the item down there in Trinidad, and Rastafari love and strength, you know.
Yes, my lord.
Give thanks, beloved. Give thanks. Give
Blessed
thanks
Lord.
for your
Rastafari.
contribution, beloved.
Yes, I. Yeah, man. Send cry.
Yes.
Yes, I.
I understand when I hear people say that the federation, the government is not religious, and I totally agree. America government is not religious, but it facilitates Muslim, Jew, Tawhido, everything that is going to contribute money to its pockets. That's what the government does. The government is the people. So while the government is the people, the government can't fight the people. The government fighting the people fighting themselves. That's what it would be, right? But when it comes to one's religious persuasion, as I would have mentioned in the early part, the purpose of the Ethiopian World Federation, one of its purpose is to teach the ancient traditions of Ethiopia. The church is the only thing that can do that, because if you have the Ethiopian World Federation and it is non-religious and non all of that and so on, the ancient Ethiopian culture is a lifestyle of spirituality. And it is known as the Christian Council. It is known as that place, the genesis of Christianity. So if you want to say you're non-religious as an Ethiopian, then you kind of want to consider, right? The federation was established to help Ethiopians, but it extended its arm out to anybody who acknowledges the king as King of Kings, acknowledges the federation as its hope as a government, acknowledges the church and state, so that it respects. So it doesn't matter what religion I am. I wouldn't be in the federation and cause up the church and so on and so all kind of thing. Because at the end of the day, it is one God. If we are all saying God, God is one. Behold, God is one. It doesn't matter what religious persuasion you are. We have to understand that the whole goal of religion is to cause a people to be good. And it's one God that has established that.
But don't you find it a bit weird though that you know we were created in the image and the likeness of the Creator, and at the same time, you know, we need religion to make us good. You know, it don't you find it a bit weird, because if we're created in the image and likeness, then I guess we would probably have some of those attributes that belong to the Creator.
Definitely, I agree. Go right ahead, Khimean.
I wouldn't say we need religion. I would say we always create religion, because to me, as a child growing up, when you reach to be a man, there's certain things you put behind of you, and there's certain things you keep. And if you keep good principles, you become a great man. If you don't keep good principles, if you don't keep no principles, you don't become a great man. So I think every person goes through that. So what Ethiopian culture represents is that these were the first people to civilize. So they took spirituality and they wrote it down, they put it together, they organized it, they took a culture and made it into a religion. So therefore they say, okay, just like us today, Rastafari, we keep certain traditions, we keep certain cultures, we keep certain sayings, we keep certain doings. So therefore in the future, the next step is to put it down on paper. Rastafari, we do this, Rastafari, we did that in this year and that year. You know, so these things evolve and grow. So Ethiopia represents that first peoples to take that spirituality and organize it into a religion, which every man does. When you wake up every day, you do your exercise, you do your prayers, you do your meditation, you do your rituals when you go before you go to work, before you do an assignment, before you do something, before you go someplace, you do this, you do that. You know, we take these things and we organize it. This is civilization. So as Ethiopians, we represent civilization. We go around the world from the ancient days, giving civilization to other human beings around the world. When you think about the ancient ones, when you speak about the Ethiopians. So, you know, when it comes to religion, yes, religion is a certain way of life. And the Theodoran Church understands as a fundamental that every man has a right to his own religion. Every man has a right to his own view. So they understand and respect that some people will not be Christian, but they understand their faith and they understand their faith as Ethiopians. So the church is very tolerant when it comes to people that are not quote unquote Christian, people that are Muslim, people that are Buddhist, people that are not into those things, people that are secular, because it's about the principles. And any man who follow these principles, whether or not they believe or not, once you follow the principles, these are important things as the Ethiopian culture. So give thanks.
Yes, I. Yeah, man, give thanks. Interesting.
And one of the, and yes, and an important thing to note is that anything that one does continually, you know, and as a okay, I must brush my teeth when I get up. I have to wash my face. Then I say my prayers. That routine is what is called religion, right? So you do it until it actually becomes part and parcel of you. So when you talk about a man's religion, that is what it is. It is what he does for his best interests continually, you know, so he does it continually. And usually that is because of his own doing. But when one has moved away from goodness, from righteousness and so on, then he needs to have a routine, quote unquote, religion that is going to assist him to return to goodness. On his own, man, created in the image and likeness of God, if he concentrates himself to walk in that image and likeness, he would not need religion. He doesn't.
Totally
and that
agree.
is what the Ethiopian constitutes. The Ethiopian is the man who walketh not in the counsel of ungodliness.
Now stand
Make
to
sense?
the sinners. Now sit in the seat of the scornful.
That's right.
But who is delight
That's
is in
an
the law of the
Ethiopian.
Lord.
Is in the law of the Lord. And in it he meditates day and night. That's an Ethiopian. That's an Ethiopian.
See it.
Give thanks.
Rastafari. Yes, I give thanks. We're still taking calls. We're going up until the top of the hour. It's now 1:45 the hour of 3 a.m. here in the UK.
Wow.
Yeah, we're gonna go up until 3. And yeah, so we're taking calls, for the next 15 minutes. Please feel free. Our guests, they're here, and they would love to hear your voice, your views and thoughts on what we're discussing here. So call us on 07852923892. The number is tagged in the chat room. I should also bring it on the screen as well. Yeah. Yes, honorable family. So what is the relationship like in Trinidad now with the government itself there? Do you guys have, do the item have pardon me, I call the item guys, a bit rude. The item have a good relationship with the government there in Trinidad and Tobago?
So far as it goes now, yes, we do. We have never been out of good relation with those that we would have communicated or contacted. There are, all we do is apply our constitution. If there's an issue, we deal with it according to the Constitution of His Imperial Majesty. And if it is something that would affect the governmental authority here, we write them. We put pen on paper and we say, listen, based on such and such, we have to do this. And we are therefore notifying you that we're doing this, or that we would want you to do this on our behalf. And we have never been met with any opposition since. The thing is that we one of the things we don't do is impose ourselves on ones and ones. There are ones who would have issues. They're not getting their income tax. They're unable to receive get their NIS on time. They retire from work, and the government isn't giving them their gratuity and so on. These are things that the Ethiopian World Federation, we as a local, can help people with. But if you don't ask us to get involved in your business, we can't impose ourselves in your affair, right? Because when we speak, because of the authority in which we speak, people generally get busy.
Powerful.
And yes.
Yeah, powerful. And
let us yes, go
sorry,
ahead.
go on. Sorry, go on.
Yeah. Let us not believe that because the Ethiopian World Federation isn't heard of by everybody, that it doesn't have the power and authority to do a lot of things internationally. It does. It's just like every other government. If the people doesn't recognize its authority and apply it, then it can't work. Make sense?
Makes sense.
Right. So it's for our people to know that the Ethiopian World Federation is here for them and use it.
Rastafari.
You were going to say?
I kind of lost train of thought, to be honest. Yeah.
I'm
Kinda
sorry
lost,
about that.
yeah, what I was gonna say. But with the going back to the reparation and repatriation, is there any dialogue with the CARICOM and the African Union? Because I know that the African Union and CARICOM seems to be trying to champion that cause, where repatriation and reparation is concerned.
I'm going to paint a little picture. Picture yourself being in your parents' house, eating their food, wearing the clothes they gave you, operating and functioning in whatever rules and regulations they have given to you. And then one day you wake up and recognize that, I should be getting more money. And then you decide to go to your parents and say, well, I think you all should give me more money. Okay, what are you doing for this more money? Well, I used to wash up the wares when I was young. I used to do this, I used to do that, I used to do the other. And I think that you all had took advantage of me. And so now I want some money for that. What do you think your parents will do? Okay, you're living in the house, eh? You're eating their food every day. You're not making a contribution. What are your parents more likely to do?
Probably tell you to stop talk or something like so.
Right? Okay. So imagine the CARICOM and AU operating under the tenets of these giants of sovereign states, right? You behave, CARICOM, all them under European thing. They still have the plantocracy titles walking around with, but you're arguing with the people whose food you're eating, the people whose clothes you're wearing, the people whose things you depend upon, to tell them that you want them to give you reparations. Have you done anything to show that you are capable of sovereignty and speaking in that authority? So we don't like to do the work, but we want to reap the benefits. So until CARICOM and the AU comes to the place where they recognize a need to leave the plantation alone and stop seeking their plantation interests, no reparations or repatriation coming for them. And if they had decided to give them reparation and repatriation, it's going to be minimal reparations and repatriation to places and of lands where they will have no authority, where they will not have the amenities that they need, because these people have absolutely shown us that they are totally incapable of humanity. So if you're negotiating for them to have humanity to give you reparations that are good and repatriation to a place that is good, then if you trust them that much, go right ahead.
Yeah. Okay. So there's absolutely no dialogue between the item then.
Well, they're having dialogue, but they're not having dialogue in the right place and space. As a sovereign entity that can make the demands. I am self-determining, I have solidarity, I have freedom, and so on. Then I can speak to other sovereign nations and say, hey, hear what? You're doing wrong, you need to do right. But if I'm not speaking from that sovereign space, I cannot command anything. And they are not in a position to command anything because they're still holding on to Europe, France, America, and so on.
Blessed love.
Yeah, greetings, Honorable ijahstarsthemindset.
Blessed love, my Lord.
Yes, I Holy Manuel Selassie Jah.
Rastafari.
Give thanks to the Sabbath day, Majesty.
Yes, Honorable Prophet.
Yeah, Prophet Brian here, otherwise known as RASAYAM, Black Star Movements Association. Yeah, just listening and taking in the program. Blessed love to the members of the EWF. honored guests here upon the Mindset program. Been listening and good to hear the advice and providing pertinent information regarding the EWF. I just, would like to ask, I didn't really get to tune in to hear the full start of the program. So forgive me if I ask something we kind of get answered already. But I wanted to hear something in relation to the scope of authority and power that the EWF wield within the international scope of its organizations, and also if it happened to have any membership, I would think with the United Nations, but also with the AU and other entities around the world in relationship to Black people. Like I know the United Nations in terms of Africa, I know the AU, so even just the two would be okay, but just the scope of power that the EWF wield.
My lord, Honorable Empress.
Yes, sir. We do have a seat with the African Union. It has not been in function over the years because of all the things that have been happening. And we also, I'm not sure what it is exactly, but we also have something as well with the United Nations. Yes. Empress, do you have anything on that? Go ahead. You're a little far from the phone.
Are you hearing me clearly now?
Yeah.
Right. We do have 2 seats at the United Nations. Because of the little turbulences, they were not operational, functional. But at this present time, we are actually working on reactivating those 2 seats. Right. So there's where we are at this present point in time.
Okay.
So very soon, those 2 seats would be active again very soon. Right, so it was just a few little paperwork and stuff that needed to be done, and those have been submitted. We are just waiting for communications.
Okay, so how long has those 2 seats been inactive?
Not quite sure. I think it's somewhere about 2012 thereabout, 2012, 2013. From the information I received, somewhere about there.
Okay, and
because of in-house turbulence.
Any example of any activities like done in the past within the UN, or is it more just observation? Anything proposed? Or?
No, not yes, right. So the proposal for the project in Shashamane, that they would establish the Million Family project. So that was done by the EWF. It's just a matter of just following up and making sure that things continue to happen in light of that.
Okay, so is there any recognition in regards to what's going on in Shashamane there? And the United Nations, like family, in terms of conditions and the development between Ethiopian itself, Shashamane, the EWF, representative of Ethiopia said we're under UN.
Okay, so the Ethiopian World Federation is really responsible for its membership, and our membership in Shashamane at present are working along with the government to bring about the solidarity that is needed so that the projects can take place, can move forward.
So yes, there's been official meetings on the ground in Shashamane with the officials over there about the developments of the land and reconciling the problems they had over the years from this first settlement.
Okay, so you have the dynamic there with the Ethiopian government and the Shashamane land grant development. How is the dynamic in terms of the relationship and representation between, say, the EWF and even, say, the government? Because, you know, the item is saying that the EWF, church and state is one. You know, His Imperial Majesty give the go-ahead for the EWF. But, you know, some of its members, especially having to do with Shashamane there, is diasporans coming into Ethiopia, learning the culture and settling among Ethiopian locals and thing. And, you know, differences over the years within the relationship with Ethiopians were born there and diasporans coming in. So how is the dynamic in regards to the EWF structure in terms of communication? Because, you know, it's like on one side they're representing the World Federation of Ethiopian people outside of Africa and Ethiopia, but at the same time it's also an extension of the Ethiopian government and church as well. So how is that kind of, you know, in terms of negotiation dynamic, where, you know, maybe certain things where they want them on the ground of Shashamane, they want to do certain things a certain way? Because I know in the past, because I was in Ethiopia there, and yeah, give thanks in the latest where them get an ID, but there was a limited ID there that was just limited to within Shashamane versus the rest of Ethiopia, where you could get maybe a bank account in Shashamane, maybe a little small business, and it was even recommended better the rest of them stay in Shashamane because, you know, one smoke their marijuana and these things. And, you know, it'll be less on them in regards to the law and break any sort of Ethiopian principles and law. And ones were, you know, obliged to that, but at the same time it was restrictive because you're still not getting recognized within the full scope of Ethiopia. For example, if you go to Addis Ababa, you wouldn't be able to get a bank account with the same ID because it was just limited to Ethiopia. But that has changed still over the past, where there's a more recognized ID. But things along those lines, in regards to the relationship and the role that EWF play as a mediator, then, if you will, how you know, just some examples of that kind of thing.
Blessed, my Lord and Empress. I know it's a long question.
Yes, sir.
Just the dynamics between specifically the Shashamane there, with ones coming in, and the Ethiopian government, church and state, because we know EWF
all right
kind of represent both sides of the party in that context.
All right. So when it comes to Shashamane, what happened in the first place was there were a lot of people that went over there that were not going through the EWF when they went to Shashamane, and they went and they did not went through the proper protocols, even if you don't know what to do, of just, you know, dealing with the local government properly. They didn't do that. They just went about and started to build. So they didn't adhere to any cultural things they had in the area, any personal dealings with the people that were in charge to put things down on paper, to put in tongues with permits, to do things officially in a governmental status and manner. They didn't do these things. So that set a bad precedent in the first place about Rasta and about the whole situation they had over there, where, you know, people thought, you know, it was messy, and people made judgments about Rasta because of these situations. So now, because of the EWF functioning as a government body, and because of the government bodies doing these important deeds properly, we are in talks again right now with the leaders of Shashamane in a proper manner to understand and to fix issues that were there in the past. So that's what's going on with that dynamic. And when it comes to the church and state, church is not involved with that when it comes to the tabernacle or the certain things. When it comes to the planning of that, they will come in later on. But for that part, that's just governmental and just fixing regular protocols that was supposed to happen that didn't happen. So give thanks.
Okay. But that said, I'd like to follow up and ask pertaining to that as well, to just get clarity. Who is the formal or legal, if you will, custodian of the Shashamane land grant? Because you hear say it's EWF, and just like you gave example, there's different Rasta ones that's not part of the EWF that maybe come and take settlements and different things. So who is the formal authority outside of Ethiopia? Because it's an Ethiopian land, but so outside of Ethiopian, who is the formal authority when it comes to the Ethiopian land grant?
Well, I would say formally, it would be the ones who Selassie gave it to, and the situation where it was given. So the situation it was given was after the war that was going on with Mussolini in Italy. There was a large movement that was happening in Harlem, and the Ethiopian World Federation was made in that advent. Now, that is when the land was given for Shashamane. So the EWF would be the government body that would be needed, because something as serious as land like that would not just be given just to individuals with no organization. So the organization that was there at the time, that was set up by His Majesty, would be the EWF, and it has the constitution to implement this. So I would say EWF would be responsible for that. Because of what His Majesty set up with the diasporans after World War II. Give thanks.
Okay, so in that case, EWF would also be responsible for the ones that would settle the land, even if they don't go through formally the EWF as well then.
Say that one more time, I didn't hear you.
No, I'm saying EWF would have to answer to or responsible for, like, say, Rastas or other diasporans that would come to the land grant to take up occupants, even if they come informally and would settle. It would be like on the account of EWF as well, being responsible for that.
Yes, I most definitely. Yes. Give thanks.
Okay, give thanks. Yeah, just a quick few more questions here. You also mentioned that your EWF have connection with the AU. Do you happen to have any seats in the African Union as well?
So the not as yet with the African Union, but that these things are in the works. Then that is a new thing as well. So we did have the other seat, but for the African Union, we are in the works of doing that right now. That's a new thing we're working on. Because we did have the convention before last over in Shashamane, and it was at we went to meet with the African Union as well. So we did have some meetings with them. But yeah, we're going towards that work.
Is there any sort of dialogue or liaisoning based off other African states outside of Ethiopia?
Yes, we have been in with some talks. Yes, we have been in some talks with some South American governments, and some Central American governments as well.
No, like within Africa, but outside of the Ethiopian state.
Just through the African Union, and I believe Ghana, but officially no. Officially no. We haven't been talking to any governments in Africa as yet. Only one we've been talking to representatives from Zimbabwe with Dr. Arikana.
Okay, okay. Um, does EWF have a legal team?
Yes, we do. We do have a legal team. We do have some legal minds. We're actually doing some legal cases right now. Yes.
So, is that made up of like individual lawyers within the locals, or it's part of the federation government body, like a legislative branch kind of thing within the federation government?
As of right now, go ahead, Empress.
No, I wanted you to repeat that, please. I didn't hear it.
Not here in the Empress.
Him to repeat the question, please. I didn't hear it.
My lord.
Yeah, and pertaining to the legal team, is there like a specific legislative branch like made up for the federation? Because I was hearing that, you know, the different locals like kind of manage yourselves. So for the federation head government body, I heard there's a legal team. So is there a specific dedicated legislative branch that goes about, you know, like outside of internal management, for external as well, within doing battles for the members of the EWF? Is there a formal branch?
Yes, there is. We do. In spite of the fact that the locals govern themselves, because things are different sometimes from local to local. But we have one legislature, we have one governmental structure order, right? It is one government, and so the legal team is the Ethiopian World Federation Legal Department.
So is there like a number that you could say, a reference, like to say a legal team group made up of such and such number?
I am not sure of the number, right? But I know that we have that happening.
Okay. Give thanks. Yeah, just a couple more questions, Pretty. How does EWF go about generating funds for financing and keeping, you know, upkeeping of the federation, and even in support of the locals, if it even does that? How does it go about generating funds to function?
The Ethiopian World Federation Incorporated is a membership organization, and so therefore all fundings and so on are generated by the membership. So whether we do fundraisers, whether we do whatever it is, we are the ones that are responsible for our fund.
Pardon me, you said you're not the one responsible?
Empress.
Sorry, I said we are the ones, because the Ethiopian World Federation Incorporated is a membership organization. And as a membership organization, we are the ones who are responsible for our funding. So whatever ways and means we come up with to cover our expenses, give thanks.
So what are some of the examples of fundraising, and what would be the main source of generating funds?
Whatever people would like to do. Some of us have businesses. Some of us, sometimes the local may put on an event, right, to raise as a fundraiser, family fund day, you know, lottery, different things. Whatever a local decides is necessary for them to do, so that they could raise funds to assist in covering expenses. That is what is done.
Okay, but the main source though, in relation to the federation government head, because I know, okay, the locals independently self-sustain themselves to a degree. So the government body
Yes.
head, what would be its main source of generating funds?
It's locals.
So
So
the membership, so is it the paid membership?
as of now, the main source for the income has been over the years has been the locals themselves giving donations, fees and dues. The fees are very minimal, and they're not pushed. So that's how it's been over the years. There's a lot of work being done right now to get export when it comes to goods, working with farmers and such. We've been doing a lot of work when it comes to that, with setting up those situations to get in monetary gains and to get export out. So I guess that's would be answer for your question.
Yes, fair enough. So is the specific fees and dues for the locals, that information will be available on the website?
Yes, those fees and dues are in the Constitution. They're also on the website as well. They're very minimal. I think less than $5 a month. So yeah, that information is not hidden.
And relating to that, what would be some of the benefits of being a member? Because you're saying about import export. If there's any sort of exemption for duties or tax or those kind of thing, if you're involved in some sort of import export or anything like that, being an EWF member?
There'll be many benefits to being a member. Right now, the stage that the EWF is in right now is a state of rising. So we are implementing a blueprint that was set up for a long time ago. So what we're trying to implement right now is getting individuals who are talented when it comes to the medical.
Blessed?
Yeah, cut out there.
Yes, sir. Can you hear me?
Yes, I. Yeah, man.
Yes.
Yeah. So we're trying to set up an economy for the people right now. We're trying to set up a blueprint of infrastructure for the people right now. So the benefits is one, jurisdiction, also the palpable doctrine that puts people into confinement and takes away their rights. So we're establishing ourselves to be, we're not there as yet to have masses of people come into the body, to have that being implemented out daily. But the process is there that we are going through of having the people being liberated from this system
and have their sovereignty be respected as Black peoples of the earth.
Okay. So, so is membership open to individuals, or it has to be already an existing organization?
Yes, it's open to individuals.
So does individuals have locals?
So right now there are locals in many different areas. There are some in the U.S., there's some in the Caribbean, there's some in Africa, some in Europe. So most likely you might be able to find one if you're in the Caribbean and it's nearby, and they have online applications that you sign up and you turn in your application into that local, and you will sign up with that local, and then you're connected to the international body. But there are locals many places around, and you can also sign up for locals that you are not in the area for. But definitely, if you are in Tobago, you can sign up for the local in Tobago. If you're in America, in Atlanta, you can sign up for local 49. If you are over in Jamaica, you can sign up for local 43. If you are in Ghana, you can sign up for the local over there. If you're in England, you can sign up for the local over there. And if you're in Shashamani, you can sign up for the local over there, locally or online.
Okay, so let me just clarify. So if you're to set up, you have to go to your specific geography, that local, and then through that local, you register to set up your own local, or you just become a member?
Okay. All right.
Go ahead, Empress.
Okay. So we have a couple things that you can do. If you are in an area where there is no local, you can apply to the IEC, which is the International Executive Council, so that you can have a local, but you must have 25 people to start your local.
Okay, that's the kind of info I want to hear. That's what I was saying, if it's an individual,
right.
or... Yeah.
Yes, so if you are an individual, you just want to join the federation, you go online on the federation's thing, so you're looking for it's Ethiopian World Federation, Incorporated, and you would sign up online as wanting to become a member. They will then assign you to the local which is nearest you. Except you say, look, I want to be in local Trinidad, or I want to be in local X. Otherwise to that, you can just sign up on the website and they will assign you to a local.
Okay, so you have individual locals, I guess from in the past that's already established. And I would believe,
yes,
per se, maybe those locals have specific agendas in place. How would that affect you as an individual?
If a local already has an agenda, then if you are part of that local, then you would be determined where you fit in to that agenda. So like, for instance, there's a local who is responsible for the land grant. Let's say that is their responsibility. There's also a local that is responsible for the legal, right? Legal, the legal counsel and stuff. So if you are part of that local, there are other things within the local. So even though the local is responsible for X, there is still all of the different departments within the local that ones can serve. So your service is always welcomed.
Okay. What is some of the requirements? My last question still. Thank you so much for answering the questions. In terms of maintaining status as a member or as a local, what are some of the requirements or mandates?
What are some of the requirements for membership? Is that the question?
No, like say you're existing member or as an individual or local, like what are some of the like the mandates, requirements to maintain in good status, or what are some of the restrictions then what is forbidden, and just to keep in good status as a local member. Because the other we're just talking about there are some locals who are doing things almost like a renegade, so the locals going out of order. So what are some of the tenets and things in regarding to just basically maintaining a good status?
Okay. The truth is that whenever you see locals going out of order, it's because they are not rule of law based on the constitution that is given to the Ethiopian World Federation. If one's if one's follow the constitution, they will set up all the departments that the constitution says they should have, and they will carry out their meetings the way it is guided by the constitution. And it says that if there is something that the constitution does not speak to, then we have something called the Roberts rules, right? Right, so there's a Roberts parliamentary procedures. We actually have that to guide us if we do not have something in particular, right? So we are well equipped actually to carry out the roles and responsibility of a government as His Imperial Majesty has indicated. The issue is humans. When humans come into an institution and they decide to carry out their own agenda, then you have chaos. Give thanks.
Okay, thanks. I said that was the last question, but I just have to add based off of that. Is there any of the ruling that has been amended in the past? Any sort of amendment that was ever made?
Can you say that again, please?
No, throughout the history of the EWF, is there any of the rules, protocol, regulation that's ever been amended?
Yes. Yes. Just recently.
Yes.
We did a couple of things to make our lives easier. In our last election, we did do some of that. And there's more to come.
Okay, great. But yeah, that is it. Yes, give thanks for the answers, my Lord and Empress. It's good to hear the information because I know, say, His Imperial Majesty set up the EWF, and it was a worthy cause and mission for its purpose. And like the Honorable ijahstar was stating, it would be a great thing if it really reached its full potential and capacity to carry out the work that it's been put in place to do. And I know some of the shortcomings is lending to the people them within a democratic sense. This is just how we conduct ourselves, what we can do with a tool we have. You can't really blame the tool, but you have to blame when it's a good tool, how the tool is being wielded. But yeah, man, give thanks to the royal moment. And yeah, blessed love to the warrior. Pardon me if you don't know the name them exactly. The King Man and yourself, Empress. And the Honorable ijahstar. Give thanks to the royal moment. Blessed love.
Blessed love. Blessed love.
Yes, my lord. Yes, Baba. Me have go borrow the question book there where you have, my lord. You have go lend it to me. Yeah. Yeah, tell her. question after question.
Well, it's personal because, yeah, reason why I'm asking is I'm looking at the potential as well because, you know, anything, as you know, Honorable Elijah Star, man, Shadow Africa, I consider Africa my home now, even though I'm away from home. I'm at a home away from home. And the relationship with Africa, while we go home our yard, it's still one of not fully being free, not fully being recognized to the capacity that we will need to be recognized as a family of Africa and diaspora and coming in relation to the needs and the amenities that we need to make full life nice in Africa. And first and foremost, that is land. And His Imperial Majesty lead the way with the Shashamane land grant and these things. And I've yet to see, to that extent, the other African nations them extend the said warmth of reception in the form of land. While some make some attempt, in my opinion, is a more of a tourism scheme, year of return, come in and stimulate the economy with tourism vibes. But when it come time to taking root in Africa and going back home for your stay, where you can have arable land to call your home and leave to your generations as a black African that's been taken away. These things are severely lacking, and it is a deterrent for ones the poor and have not so they want to come into Africa. Them already in a certain conditions in the countries where they find themselves, the colonial colonies, and then now if you go home and it's like, where we are go home, what is the condition when they reach home? Where is the food, clothes, shelter, clean water, hospital, burial ground, all these kind of things that you take care of. So a whole heap of work needs to be done on that front. So that's why these questions I inquire in regards to the EWF have to offer, because of something, you know, our stone have to be uncover and look for see what can aid the Back to Africa movement. And me personally at that I look pan. Give thanks for the help and aid with ones where the Jamaica, the Trinidad and the Tobago, black people everywhere in general. I know that is what the EWF stand for. But my specific desire or benefits I'm looking for out of the EWF would be in relation to a repatriation, a repatriatee, and a reparationary recipient. So give thanks.
My Lord. Yes, I.
My Lord. Yeah, bless it.
Yes, I. Rastafari.
Rastafari.
Give thanks, beloved. Rastafari.
Rastafari.
Yes,
Give
sir.
thanks. You know, the brother is really on point, you know, in that, yes, the Ethiopian World Federation was established to ensure that ones were able to return home as Ethiopians and not just return home, but breach, you know, there are some of us who are very unruly. So when you run out and do your own thing, then you put everybody else in problems, you know. So we have some issues that we are now trying to clean up, some stuff that we are trying to correct at this present point in time, and we look forward to this being done soon, sooner than later. The work has been started, and I'm looking forward to its completion sooner than later. Give thanks.
Yeah. I'm on excellent. Collective security is surety. So that
Yes,
is
sir.
excellent.
Yes, sir.
And I'm even with this
Yes,
program,
sir.
you know, so many more ones will be watching. Urgently watching because the help is needed. So yeah. Give thanks.
Yes, I. Yes, King. One final question from myself. We have about 8 more minutes leave and the program. I said it was 15 minutes about an hour ago. But give thanks still, a lot of information. Happy that I had the item and the program tonight and yesterday. Yeah. But Solomon Wolf, what type of what can I say? What type of recollection the item of Solomon Wolf, or the role that Solomon Wolf play in the EWF?
Well, I'm not too familiar with the individual, so I'm not gonna say.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so the bit that I can give is that Solomon Wolf was placed in a position by His Imperial Majesty to assist in with the land grant that was given. He was the one that came up with the blueprint for the way in which the land was would be used. The government of His Imperial Majesty was very pleased with it, and he made him the one who would and it was actually a seat it is an office that the Ethiopian government established in Ethiopia, so that one that is from the Ethiopian World Federation can sit in that seat. And that person would have been the go-between the government of Ethiopia and the Ethiopian World Federation, working on the land grant, having someone on the ground in Ethiopia. His Imperial Majesty established that office so that they could have someone right there making sure that what needs to be done was done.
And who is currently occupying that office now?
I cannot remember his name off my head right now, but since he was appointed, because there has not been a proper let's say governance from the because of all the turbulence that the Federation was going through, different IECs and all these kinds of things.
You're not that clear, Honorable Empress. I didn't hear anything you said.
Sorry about that. There's a gentleman whom I can't remember his name off my head right now, but since he is sitting in the seat since I think about 2010, 12, even around that time, he has been occupying the seat, actually not doing anything, but wrangling and tangling between IEC and the Bacchanal with the different headquarters. So he is not aligning himself with the Ethiopian World Federation, Incorporated, right? He is establishing his own thing with friends on the side. So he holds up that paper and says, I am responsible for the land grant, I am responsible for the land grant, but he's not doing anything. So the people are in Shashamane suffering and so on and thing because he's just the land grant administrator, according to him, without an IEC, because you cannot operate and function in that position without being attached to the Ethiopian World Federation Incorporated, because it is through the entity of the Ethiopian World Federation Incorporated that that seat has any power to do anything in Ethiopia.
So all right. So basically, what you're saying, the individual is incompetent of that office.
Is he well? His office is incompetent because he's not aligning himself with the Ethiopian World Federation Incorporated.
Okay.
So even if he waves the paper around, the only entity that the Ethiopian government recognizes is the Ethiopian World Federation Incorporated, incorporated. So if he's not going to them through that entity, he will not be successful in accomplishing the land grants administrative function.
So is really a monumental office that Solomon Wolf has created then in a sense, or initiated between himself and His Majesty.
Right, and we say that Solomon Wolf initiated it, but it was that when he went to His Imperial Majesty with his idea of the development for the land grant, it was so pleasing that His Imperial Majesty established an office to have this person there to see this thing through. So the office that he sat in belonged to the Ethiopians. And as long as you are going to sit in that seat, you must be from the Ethiopian World Federation, Incorporated.
Rastafari. Okay.
Give that.
Well, give thanks. It's truly been a very informative reasoning and conversation, you know. Yeah, I would love to have the item on the program again, you know. So yeah, I give thanks. As I said, it's an honor to have the item on the platform. I'm sure ones here have truly, full joy and can take a lot away from a lot that I've said from both of the items. So, I want to thank the item for taking the time to reason with the world at large and to let the world know what the Ethiopian World Federation is currently doing at this time. So much love and honor and respect to the item, for taking the time.
Give thanks, beloved. Much love.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Bless the Lord, man. Give thanks for having us.
Yes, my brother, and royal lot of celebration to the item, my lad.
Yes,
more life and strength and powers and blessing and prosperity and dominion, my lord.
Yes, sir, man. Likewise, yes, sir. Give thanks. So I see.
Jah Rastafari. Yes, I. So give thanks and we keep the connection, we keep the link, and let's see what we can do and towards uplifting the black nation. I'm sure the king would be jubilant about what the item is doing and about what others who will come in contact with this video who will act upon what them hear so far. So give thanks again. You know, it's an honor and a pleasure to have the item here.
Give thanks, beloved. Yes, I.
Yes,
Blessed
I.
love.
Yes, I. Blessed love.
Yes, I bless the Lord.
Yes, I. Manners and respect. Give thanks. Yes, honorable family. Yeah, man. Give thanks. So, you know, taking the time, you know, give thanks to the item, patient listening and rapt attention. Yeah, it's been a journey. Yeah, a really informative journey. Zine. Yeah. We give thanks you know, for the calls, you know, for everyone who contribute, you know, the 2 calls them, you know, Honorable Prophet Brian from, you know, the Black Star Movement Association, and my brother in St. Croix, you know, manners and respect, and give thanks for the strength and, you know, the support every time. All the silent listeners, you know, manners and respect, everyone who are contributing in the chat room. You know, more love, more strength, you know, give thanks. As you know, the program is powered by YardSlangz Clothing. Check them out on all of the platform, you know, socially. Check their website also. Zine. So, more love, more strength, manners and respect. We will link up again after the Sabbath. Alright, after the Sabbath we'll link up. But during the Sabbath, look out, we might push out, you know, probably about 2 videos, you know, throughout the day and the Sabbath still. So, manners and respect, peace and love. Holy Emmanuel, King Selassie, Jah, Rastafari. Bless and sanctify, sanctify and bless. Time to rise. Time to open up your third eye. Full time you start to realize that all this time they've been telling us one bag of lies. Telling us a God in the sky that for you and I he die. Jenko Jesus or meek or mild. These things they taught us from we were a child. False indoctrinating the innocent minds. Mind control is the signs of the time. Android, cyborg, AI, all these things combined. All these things combined might sound like a rhyme, but the evidence reality is right before your eyes. Under no disguise, the age of Aquarius is the shifting of the time. Sun, moon, stars, the planet in the cosmos align. As the cosmos align, low vibration frequency decline. You strengthen your mind. Access to knowledge, information from the Almighty Creator Divine. Creator Divine. The time arise. I feel with time for rise. The time appointed, because I am anointed. The time arise. I feel with time for rise. The time appointed, because I am anointed. YardSlangz, wait there. Somebody say something about Jamaican patois in a style and fashion. Yes, the Ras. Me a search the other day online and buck up on a new, authentic Jamaican clothing brand. Wagwan are the latest and newest one. In a t-shirt, hoodie, slippers and woman's bag. And a whole heap of other things I may not even mention. Search online for more information. YardSlangz. Hit them with a bang.
Smash that subscribe button. See you on the next video. I just start the mindset. Smash that subscribe button. See you on the next video. I just start the mindset. Smash that subscribe button. See you on the next video.